Hello and welcome to Tuesday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where we've got another perfectly rated puzzle for you today. 100% this puzzle has on Logic Masters Germany. It's called Renban Caves and it's by yttrio. Now, let me just show you what some of the comments are like on this one. Absolutely stellar. Well, Agent, easy and fun. I mean, it has got 4 stars out of 5 for difficulty. So, I mean, Agent is a bit of a genius. So that might be why it's described as easy. But the Mixo, beautifully constructed. Franjo, one of those puzzles. I have no idea how it could ever have been constructed. What a wonderful setting. Calvin Ball, one of those puzzles where every single clue is absolutely perfect. Chef's Kiss, and Snooker Fan, very good judge, brilliant puzzle. So this absolutely stunning puzzle as well from Skunsel. Anyway, this is what we're going to have a look at. Actually, I would like to say something. Just in response to a couple of days ago, we did a video about a 100% rated puzzle that we'd missed back in 2023. And there was concern in some of the comments from the constructing community to say that were we aware that there are known trolls, believe it or not. The Sudoku world has trolls. Can you believe it? I mean, actually, I should believe it because, because the cryptic crossword world has trolls as well. I'm just thinking about our Friday videos. So let me tell you about cryptic crossword trolls. So in the land of cryptic crosswords, there is a daily leaderboard. When you solve the Times crossword or the Times quick crossword, you see your rank on a leaderboard according to how fast you were. And there are people, and there are quite a lot of people who solve it on paper or get the answers off the internet and then type them in to the computer as fast as they can in order to get their names at the top of the leaderboard. And they do it every day. Now, that is, I think, quite a strange thing to do. But let's move on to the world of Sudoku. In the world of Sudoku, there are also people who I'm not even sure they solve the puzzles, to be honest, because for a lot of puzzles now, the solutions are embedded in the software. So people might have software that they can drag the solution out of the code of the puzzle or something. I don't really know how that works, but they solve the puzzles and then they deliberately downrate them on Logic Masters Germany, all of them. Apparently it's sort of there is no distinction. They just give them the lowest possible rating. You may ask, why would you do that? I have no idea. I honestly, I have no idea what goes on in the minds of people who do that. It does seem to me to be something that should remark our pity rather than our anger, because it's a strange way to spend life, I think. But the upshot is that some constructors are worried that if their puzzle does get down-rated by the trolls, they might not, the puzzle might not get the attention it deserves. So let me just address that for a moment. It is true to say that if a puzzle does get 100% rated on Logic Masters Germany, it will come to our attention. But by far the most important thing that we use to judge a puzzle, there's two things really. Firstly is recommendations, especially recommendations from people we've known and trust for a long time. And we get those typically by email. And the secondly is our testers. So we get puzzles submitted to us and we have testers who test them and they say, this is a great puzzle, this is a very difficult puzzle, so only try this if you've got lots of extra time on the day, etc. So those are the two things. So don't worry too much. If your puzzle is good, then it should have a very good chance of at least us being aware of it. We do spend a lot of time on sort of distilling down the short list of puzzles we might attempt on any day. And all I can say to you is, I think if you look at the puzzles that have appeared on the channel over the last several years, have there ever been any duds? I mean, that's something that Mark and I discuss a lot. We are committed to making sure that every day you should see 2 world-class puzzles, and I hope that's true. I really do. So just a message to all those of you who care about the quality of puzzles, and we do our best in that regard, and don't worry too much about the trolls. Well, you can worry about their sanity, that's fine, but don't worry too much about the effect they have on your own puzzles. Anyway, that is a long digression, isn't it? I will read the rules to yttrio's puzzle in a moment or two's time, but a couple of quick mentions. Firstly, the Hobbit Sudoku hunt. It's still going strong. You've got about a week left if you want to be in with a chance of winning the competition. Let's go to the solve counter. So where were we up to? 704 people had solved all of the puzzles yesterday, and so it's gone up by about 50 again. Absolutely brilliant this is. I really like the fact I can sort of keep track of how many people are actually making their way to the end of the quest, and Blobz deserves huge credit and thanks for creating such a wonderful sequence of puzzles that has engaged the community like this. So it's over on our Patreon now if you want to have a go, and the winner, drawn out of the hat after the 20th, will have the chance to make a Sudoku video that might appear on the channel with me. And I can tell you that Cecilia, who won last month's competition, we have arranged a date. We are going to try and record a video later this week, so I hope that there will be a sequel video to the one I made with Maddie last month, which was really popular. And I actually had a lot of fun making. So let's see. Let's keep our fingers crossed for that. Now, I've also got birthdays to do today. 4 birthdays. So let me look at my list. Nadia, it's your birthday. And I know this was your husband, Yap, wrote to us, describing you using the following adjectives: smart, funny, beautiful, and witty, which is pretty good, I think. But Nadia loves board games and doesn't like Sudoku, so I don't think she watches the channel. But Yap apparently makes up for her not watching by watching double the amount. So Yap, thank you for doing that. I hope Nadia gets the message, and I hope she has a wonderful birthday today. Next, Noah. Noah, it's your birthday, and I know this because your friend Matt wrote to us. And I think you discovered, I'm not sure whether it was serendipitously, but you discovered that you both watch most evenings. I love that when you hear of people coincidentally finding that they like Cracking the Cryptic. And often it's a genuine surprise, because people don't expect people to be into Sudoku solving or watching Sudoku solving, but then they are. So Noah, many happy returns. I hope you have a great birthday today. Next, Rhonda. Your husband Matthew wrote to us, and I suppose that might be Matt. Most Matthews are Matts, but I'm not sure. My notes say Matthew, but Rhonda, I know it's your birthday. That's the most important thing, and you both watch, so thank you for doing that, and I hope you have a great birthday today. And then finally, Seth. Seth, you've turned 28 today, and I know this because your younger brother Arthur wrote to us. Why have I written the word younger in there? That implies you might have an older brother as well called Arthur, which would be quite funny if you sort of had, 3 brothers. There was an older Arthur, a middle brother called Seth, and then a younger brother called Arthur as well. But anyway, hopefully you know of whom I speak, Seth, and I hope you have a great birthday today. I understand that you do watch the channel a lot. And that's all the news. Let's have a look at the rules to Renban Caves by yttrio. They are as follows. We have got normal Sudoku rules apply, and that means we've got to put the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, every column, and every 3x3 box. Then it says shade some cells such that all shaded cells are connected orthogonally by other shaded cells to the edge of the grid, and the remaining unshaded cells form one orthogonally connected area. Note that 2x2 areas that are entirely shaded or entirely unshaded are allowed. Okay, because in some logic problems, I'm thinking yin-yang, you can't have a 2 by 2 area. Now, I can distill this down. I think this is a cave puzzle, isn't it? I mean, the title sort of gives it away, Renban Caves. So let's think about that for a moment. So if that cell was a shaded cell, shade some cells such that all shaded cells are connected orthogonally by other shaded cells to the edge. So what we have to do is make sure that this shaded cell somehow touches the edge via a sequence of shaded cells like this. Now, it's not going to be good enough for it to do that. That isn't, this one and this one are not orthogonally connected. Orthogonally connected means shares an edge with. It does not mean it touches diagonally at a point. So we'd have to connect these orthogonally, something like that. And then all of the... I've sort of lost my grey colour in my palette. Oh dear. And anyway, the rest of the area, the sort of cave, is going to be, so there could be a cave, might look something like, I don't know, that. Maybe that, and then this could be, so I'm just sort of inventing a possible solution to this. We could have that. So something, yeah, the moment you carve an area off, you can't. So if we'd concluded somehow that this shading was correct, we would know both of these cells had to be grey as well, because if these were green, the green area is not one orthogonally connected area, is it? There are two areas, and that's not good enough. So these would have to be grey. I might as well finish it off because it's, oh yeah, could we do that? Yeah, I mean, that might be right. And then all we're saying is the green area is the cave. So that is how cave works. Now the next bit, there are quite a few rules today. The next bit of the rules says digits in circles cannot be shaded and represent the total number of unshaded cells seen horizontally and vertically from that cell, including itself. Shaded cells block the vision. So if this square here was an 8, that would mean that it would be unshaded. So we could do something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That might be right. Is that 8? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then all of those would have to be shaded in that example to make sure that this only sees 8 and does see 8 horizontally and vertically, including itself. Shaded cells block the vision was the final part of that paragraph. So that's the second paragraph of rules. Digits in cells separated by a white dot must have consecutive values. Additionally, one of those cells must be shaded and the other must be unshaded. So these two cells, imagine that was a 2. This would either be a 1 or a 3 in order to make sure that the two digits were consecutive, but these can't both be the same colour. So one's going to be in the cave, one's going to be in the walls. Right, and here's the last rule, which is the Renban bit of it. It says, every set of orthogonally connected unshaded cells within a 3 by 3 Sudoku region acts as a Renban line. That is, those cells must contain a non-repeating set of consecutive digits in any order. Note that a 3 by 3 region may have more than one such set of cells. Also note that such a set may consist of just one cell. So let's have a think about what that might look like. So if those three were green and these three were grey and these three were green, I think that could happen. That grey could still get to the edge. But then what are we saying? We're saying that those digits have to be a consecutive sequence. But that sequence could be in any order. So imagine this square was a 1. Then these would have to be 2 and 3 in some order. to be consecutive, to make sure those 3 digits together were a consecutive sequence. Now let's say that square was a 6, then these two squares, these two squares couldn't include the digit 9, because if they did, these cannot be a consecutive sequence. But I think all other digits would be possible. But if we say we deduce this was a 4, then this would have to be a 5 in order to ensure these were consecutive with each other. That's a really interesting rule, actually, and that is the end of the rules. Do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual, but now I get to play. I'm looking forward to this. Let's get cracking. So the first thing, the circles are all unshaded, aren't they? Can I double click them? Oh no. Oh, I can. Okay, so they are all going to be what I'll call green. And what we should do as well is we should delineate between the dotted cells, aren't they? So let's go to the pen tool and just draw a line across each white dot to make sure that we know that the area is delineated between cave and walls. Okay, and therefore, I mean, it looks like something's going on there, doesn't it? Because this is a... Oh, I tell you what we should think about. Yeah, hang on. There is a secret to cave that it occurs to me might be relevant. Just looking at this. You cannot have this pattern. Given the rule set of the puzzle, actually, I can't use black, can I? Maybe I'll use purple for the walls. This pattern, this checkerboard pattern within a 2x2 is impossible in this, because let's understand why that is the case. So we've got the condition that the green area has to orthogonally connect, and that means these two cells somehow are going to join together. Now if we go down sort of west and then south to form that connection, hopefully you can see that this purple cell, in that instance, that purple cell there cannot be orthogonally connected to the edge of the puzzle by other purple cells, because the greens prevent that. There's a wall of green. And if we went the other way and went sort of north and west and then south to connect the greens up, this one could never connect to the edge. So a checkerboard is impossible, and that is making me think that if that was green, so if it was that pattern, that would have to be green, wouldn't it, to avoid a checkerboard? Actually, it would have to be green to just make sure that green was connected to the rest of the world of green. So that would have to be green as well. Yeah, okay, okay. And this doesn't work, and it's nothing to do with checkerboards. Well, that's actually really funny. Okay, that's very good. Right, how do I explain this? Let's take out that last. We don't need that. Oh, goodness. The point here is to think about how we're going to construct a Renban, i.e. a sequence of consecutive digits incorporating at least those 3 cells and possibly more, but in particular incorporating this cell in the Renban. Let's make this cell a digit. Let's make it 5. Now what do these white dots mean? Well, they mean that this domino contains a consecutive pair and this domino contains a consecutive pair. So this is either going to be 4 here and 6 here, or the other way round. Doesn't matter which way round. The point is that how can this 5 be in a sequence? It cannot be in a sequence because the 2 digits that are either side of it in the panoply of digits from 1 to 9 are not in its sequence, are not available to it within the box. So it's totally impossible for this cell It's actually totally impossible for this square to be green, isn't it? That's what I should have realised, and I've understood it now. So this square has to be wall. So these squares have to be not wall. They are cave. This has to get to the edge. Don't these have to be in different... Oh no, sorry. I thought for a moment these were counting the number of green cells in there. So I was thinking if they're connected, these would contain the same digit. But I was forgetting these are cave rules, aren't they? It's not counting how many green cells are connected within the Renbanic strip. So how do we do this? Well, yeah, okay. This is really interesting. It's a bit strange, but it's really interesting. I think I might be able to say this square can't be green now. And that's sort of using the checkerboard idea. Because if this is green to avoid a checkerboard. And the reason I think this is a problem is that now, let's go back to my example. 4, 5, 6. 4 and 6 are in the same Renbanic strip. So we need the digit between the 4 and the 6 to be in the green, not in the wall. And it couldn't be because of the white dot sequence. That's really good. This is lovely. So now this square is definitely wall. Now that's... Okay, well, and this green has to connect to the rest of the world of green, so that must be green. We know that this can't be green because we've established that we can't have a single unit of green in box 1 because of this digit preventing the sequence then in rising, so that must be wall. And this green has to get... Oh, so look. Right, so now something... Oh, whoa. Okay, I've got a good deduction. I was going to say all of these circles have big numbers in them, and that's true, but I can go much further than that. Why have they got big numbers in them? Well, they're counting how many horizontal and vertical green cells they see, if you like, that are within their, that are not blocked from their vision. But this is Sudoku. So these can't all contain the same number. So let's say this square was a wall for a moment. This would be a 6, wouldn't it? Well, what would this digit be then? Well, at the moment it's also seeing 6 horizontally, so it would have to extend down to not be another 6. But so would this. And that's the case whether this is wall or this is green. There is simply no way that either of these cells can be wall. Because if either of these cells are wall, the number you would put in this cell will be the same as the number you put in this cell. So you have to do that. And now this one, 1, 2, 3, 6. Oh no, it's still got 1 degree of freedom. It's either 8 or 9. It's already seeing 8. This must be seeing at least 7. So that's 7, 8, or 9. This is 6. But it can't be too big, can it? Because this one definitely sees 2 more than it. So this can only be 7. 6 or 7 is the limit of what this one can be. Now, if that was 8, that would be shaded. That could be shaded, and then both of those could be green and this could be 9. Yeah, for some reason I feel like this one's going to be lower, but I don't think that's actually necessarily the case. Oh, the Renban. We're going to have to think about a Renban in this box. It would be quite funny if the whole box was green, wouldn't it? If the whole box is green, then obviously the green area within that box will be the digits 1 to 9. There must be a wall in at least one of these two cells, because otherwise this one would be a 9 and it can't be, and that one would be about an 11. That one is at least 3 at the moment. I mean, that really doesn't seem important. This... Is it something to do with that sequence having to be a Renban? I mean, if that's 6... If that goes 6, 7, 8, that can't work. Yeah, that... Yeah, okay, so there are 3 digits there from the selection of digits 6, 7, 8, 9, aren't there? So it's absolutely essential that there is a 5 in this sequence, because if there wasn't a 5, these 5 digits would be all selected from 6, 7, 8 and 9. And that's definitely impossible. You can't have 5 digits in one row of a Sudoku selected from 4 different digits. You will repeat a digit. So, so if we go... So now I want... this might be wrong what I'm about to say, but I feel like... whatever this sequence is, this digit is the lowest one of the sequence. That might be wrong, but imagine this was 765 for a moment, and you tried to put the 6 here. Well, that clearly wouldn't work. If this was 654, yeah, you've always... or say it was 6. Yeah, this is always the lowest of the sequence. That I am convinced of. And that's to allow there to be an escape digit that's consecutive with it here. So this I think, is going to be a descending sequence. So if that's 7... that could be 5, 4, 3. If that's 6, you could go 4, 3, 2. This would be in a sequence that would be... wait a minute, hang on. Hang on. Now that doesn't seem to work either. If that digit is at least a 2, because it sees 2 at the moment. If this is 4, 4, 3, 2, I don't feel I can make a sequence work there. But if that's right, I might be wrong. I think we might be able to prove this is 5, 6, 7. But does that work? 5, 4, 3. And then that could be a 2. That would be a sequence. In fact, that's an extendable sequence, because you could put 1 into the sequence. Yeah, okay. So here, alright, so we've got a few steps to go through here in order to prove this. Step 1. Are we actually convinced You see, if we went 6, 7, and that went 8, 9... No, that can't work. I was just wondering whether that could... There was some weird way in which this could be in an ascending sequence. That definitely doesn't work. Because if we... Just to show you that, if we do go 7, 8, 9... The point is that this needs to be a sequence that involves a 9. So it needs access to the 8. And if we went somehow, we can't go 6, 7 because that will kill this square. So this is descending. Then the question is, what is it descending through? Now, one option is it's 7, 6, 5 with a 5 here. I think that's what it's going to have to be. Because if, on the other hand, somehow this sequence gets down as low as 4, which is clearly the lowest it could get to, given that this is a 6 or a 7 and it's a 3-cell sequence, the lowest digit, and we can never put the 4 here. I hope that's clear. If that's 6 and that's 5, what on earth do you put into this square? Nothing. There's no sequential digit. So I am convinced that this is the lowest digit in this 3-cell sequence. So if this is 4, you have to go 4, 3, 2. We know this is more than 2 now. But whatever it is, you cannot create the Renbanic sequence, can you? Because 3 is not available to you. I mean, this can't be, although it sees 2, so from a circle perspective it sees 2. It can't be a 2, so it must be more. And that just breaks. So I think the idea is that this must be 5, 4, 3. We know this is the lowest in this 3-cell sequence, so this has to be 6 or 7. So this is now not 7. Weirdly, I still don't think I know what that is. I may do somehow, but I don't know that I know that. My brain doesn't tell me I know it. But I think the point is that this square now has to be 2. There is simply no other option. Oh, right, and that limits its size in the sense that now it sees all the digits it's ever allowed to see from a... Oh, I suddenly thought it's going to be trapped in. It's not, though. Because all of those have to be purple. And now how do you... Right, look at all this. That's got to be... Avoid a checkerboard here, so that's got to be wall. Avoid a checkerboard here, so that's got to be wall. So now this is green. That might complete that. I'll come back to that in a minute. The main thing I was thinking is this has to get out. So that has to go down there. And now this one, 6, that one sees 9, so that is a 9, this is an 8. And now that must be purple to stop the 9 seeing any further. That must be purple to stop the 9 seeing any further. So that is a 6 in the corner. This is really clever. It's really clever. And this 8 hasn't seen enough. It only sees 7, so that it gets another one, and then that's purple. Avoid a checkerboard, that's purple. Avoid a checkerboard, that's purple. 2 by 2, no, we haven't got a 2 by 2 rule today. Look, oh, this is lovely. Oh my goodness me, this is so sick. Right, now, look at this box. There is a 7-cell Renbanic sequence in it that includes a 9. So it's all the digits. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. This is a 1, 2 pair, therefore, and the 2 can just be written into the grid. So that's 2, that's 1. What are these digits then? They are 1, 8, 9, apparently. 1, 8, 9, that's not 1. Oh, I was going to say, do we know what this digit is? Well, it sees 5 at the moment, so it's at least 5. 5, 6 or 7. Depends how far this goes across that way. This one, I think this has to be green, because effectively, I mean, it's a bit odd to... if this is purple, obviously this green has to get out there. But if this is green, this is purple, and this green still has to get out. So that's always... It's always got to do that. Definitely. Yeah, maybe this digit is a 3 or a 4 by Sudoku. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4 along here. This square is now... It's definitely not a 1. Oh, I see, but... okay, if this was an odd digit, it would be a 1 or a 3, simply by Sudoku. And this digit would be even, because that is the nature of a consecutive pair of digits. And it would be an even 2 or an even 4, which it's not allowed to be. So this is 2 or 4. This is odd and is 1, 3, or 5. Oh no, it's not 1. I've got to... There is a 1 in one of these squares. Actually, let me just formally record that. So this is 3 or 5. So if it was... No, there's a problem here. There's a problem. If this... Well, no, there's a problem if that's green, I think. I feel like this... Oh, maybe not. I definitely don't think this can be green and be a 2. In fact, it definitely can't. If that's a green 2, then this is a walled 3. And the sequence here, which is 3 cells at least, in fact it would have to be 4 cells, couldn't exist. Because the 2 would be in a sequence that would need at least a 4-cell sequence. It would need a 3 in it, and the 3 would be there. So if this is green, it has to be 4. And this has to be 5. No, and that doesn't work either, but for a slightly different reason. It's beautiful, this. Yeah, if that's 4 and that's 5, oh, could that be 3? Ah, I hadn't thought of that. Well, if this is 4, this can't be 5, for the following reason. This cell sees at least 4 in order for this green sequence to get out. So it would need to be... It couldn't be 4, so it would need to be bigger than 4, and it can't be by Sudoku. Oh, so maybe it doesn't matter. If that's 3, this still needs to get out. It needs to be at least 4, and it just can't be, so it would be penned in, and this green could never connect to this green. Okay, so what we're actually learning here, oh, whoopsie, is that this colouring is wrong. It's the colouring that's wrong, not the digits. So this has to be wall, this has to be green. Yeah, okay. So if that's 4, this is at least 2. One of these at least has to be green, because this green area in the top left hasn't got out. That's a 3 or a 4. Oh, sorry, yes, okay, so where's 1 in the top row? I can actually write that in, can't I? That's 1. So there is a 2 in one of these squares. Yeah, okay. So, it's something to do with this sequence, and this not disrupting it. I think I want this to be a 2. That's what my brain is telling me. If that's a 2, that would be walled. That would be 4. This would be a 3-cell sequence. No, it would be longer than that. It would have to be at least a 4-cell sequence, wouldn't it? So if that's a 2, this would be, so this couldn't be 3, so it would have to be 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it doesn't work. It doesn't work for this to be 2. You need the 4 in the sequence, or the 3. So let me show you. If that's 2 and that's 4, the point is that in order for this to connect to the rest of the world, it's not possible for all those to be purple. So at least something here is green. So this is a 4-cell sequence, at least, and it's going to need that 4 in it. So that simply doesn't work, does it? Oh, no. What I want to do is put the 2 here. That means this is 3. So this is 4 in the corner. That's 3. And that sees 4. So it sees exactly 2 more below it to the south. Then this has got to be wall in order to pen in the 4. Oh, bobbins. And now, because we sort of hypothecated 1 and 2 in this box, it's absolutely possible that everything else in this box is green. Although that might break that cell. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, okay, that's interesting. That can't be 7 anymore. You can't get to a count of 7 from this cell, because you'd have to take 3 this way, and that would automatically bring this one into the equation and make this an 8. So that has to be 5 or 6, and one of these at least is definitely wall. Right, okay. So what I'm going to do now is change tack slightly, because look at this box. Now, these 2 squares are interesting to me, because whichever order they go in, there's a passageway of green. So what I'm doing, let me just double click all the greens. I want to focus on the area in the north, and in the north, you know, this area here and this area. Now, hopefully you can see that to get this green area out to connect to, say, this green area over here, we're going to have to somehow get the green to cross down here. How is my question. And the point is that this is either green on top of purple. Now, if it's that, we've got to get through this little strait of Scylla and Charybdis here. So those 3 are going to have to be green, aren't they? But what if it's the other way around? Well, it's exactly the same problem. We've now got this strait here. We've got to go through those 3 squares. So there is no way that both of these are not green. And that means this square is definitely purple by dint of the... Oh, and that's green to avoid a checkerboard. Oh dear. I've got... that's at least a 4. But I'm not sure how we deal with that. If we're going... Oh, I'm not sure. No, I'm just not sure. What do you think we do next then? No, it wasn't what I was about to say, let me tell you that. Where's 4 in box 2? Sudoku comes to our rescue for once. Right, so these are 5, 6 and 7. I know that there's something. I know one of these, at least, is wall. So if that one's wall... Oh, right, that's the simplest way of doing it. Yeah, okay, so what I was trying to do in my brain, just to explain, it's sometimes difficult to explain what's going on in my brain, but anyway, what I was thinking was that if this was wall, it had to get to the edge somehow, so it would make that one wall. And I think that is the point, isn't it? It's not possible, actually, for this to be a 6. Because if it's a 6, that's green, and that's wall. And that wall can never connect to the edge. So I think, I should have got this earlier probably, that's 5. This is a 6, 7. That's wall. Avoid a checkerboard. That's wall. This top area has to get out. This is being constructed. It's just total genius. Now, oh, that is an 8 or a 9. No, that's it. Right. Look at this. Okay, so now we don't know what the nature of this digit is yet, but let's consider whether there's any possibility this is wall. If it's wall, we've then got a sequence here of 5 digits that begins with a 3, and we know it begins with a 3 because it doesn't have 2 in it. In other words, these would be an 8-9 pair, and that will break this square, and that doesn't work. So that's green, and this is a 9. Oh, it is, no, hang on, that might be wrong. Yeah, no, it is a 9, because I've got to put 9 in this box, and it can't go in the green now, because it would need, it couldn't get down to 3, could it? So the 9 must go here, this must be 8. These two squares are now a 1-9 pair, and now I must know what these are. 5, 5 and 8? Does that seem plausible? That does seem plausible to me. This is 6 and 7. Oh, this circle, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's at least 6. So it's 6, 7, 8 or 9. Now, now where should we look? I was about to say something that's not actually true, so I'll stop. I won't say that. What I was going to say, just to tell you, was I could see 1 and 9 in this box were being shunted over into this space, and I was going to say, oh, one of them must be in green, so it's an extreme Renban, this, however big this thing is. But then I thought, oh no, we could actually put them here. Well, here is a thought. I do know the size of this Renban now, because it's these 4 plus 1 of these. So it's a 5-cell sequence. So there must be a 5 in it, because if you pick 5 consecutive digits from the digits 1 to 9 and you start with the lowest number, you'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if you start with the highest number, you'll go 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. So there is definitely a 5 in one of those squares. That's really not important, is it? If you put... you can't put 1 there, because that would be a 2. So 1 is either in the sequence, which would make it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That feels difficult. That feels difficult. Right, okay. Spider sense is tingling there. Is it possible? I'm not sure, actually. I feel like it's not, but I'm not certain. Is it possible to make whatever this green sequence looks like? Let's just fill it in for the sake of exposition. I don't think it's going to matter too much which way round this goes. But what I'm saying is it possible that that is a sequence 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? You can see exactly where the 2 and no, and you can see exactly the problem. Isn't it beautiful? Oh, it's lovely, and now I see it. Yeah, it's really clever. Okay, so I'm just going to show you. I'm going to explain the problem, and then I'm going to show you it doesn't matter which way around this goes. The point is that if 1 is in the green part of this shape, then you know the sequence. It will be 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and because of this 2, 3 here, the 2 and the 3 are always going to go in the wings, aren't they? So they're going to be here and here, and if this was the other way up, they'd be here and here. And this white dot breaks the world, because you're going to have a digit that is sequential with a 2 or a 3 that is in the wall, and that digit needs to be in the sequence. Because any digit that's sequential with 2 or 3 will be in the sequence 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, it will be in the sequence 1, 2, 3, 4. And that means this cannot be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if we did this the other way around, that logic is absolutely preserved. It doesn't change one iota. Now these would have to be 2 and 3. And this cell would need to be in this sequence. So it doesn't work. And that means that 1 is there in this box. It can't be there because that would be a 2. So that's 1. This is so going to be 98765, isn't it? That's going to be much easier, I think. So now you can see that if 9 is in any of these squares, it will be 98765. And then we'll be putting 2, 3, and 4 into purple digits. And that feels like it's very doable. Although that would have to be... Actually, I'm changing my mind. If I put 9... This has been... what was the comment we saw earlier? Let me just go back. Every single clue is absolutely perfect. It's really... This is brilliant. It's brilliant. Okay, so remember what we're saying. We're saying that the green sequence here, which is either that or that. So it's either, what's that, an F pentomino or a Z pentomino. Imagine it has 9 in it. Well, what are the digits? So what are the digits in that sequence? Well, they have to be, if it has 9 in it, they have to be 98765. And that means that the purple digits, which are either those or these, have to be 1, 2, 3, and 4, don't they? So what on earth would you fill this cell with? It has to be sequential with a digit that's in the sequence 98765. So it has to be 4 next to 5, but it can't be 4 next to 5 because of this. So that is 9, and now 8 is in the sequence. And that is not 8. Oh, and in fact, we now know the sequence because it can't have 9 in it. So these squares are... So it's going to go 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. 8, 7, so 7... 5, 6, 7, 4, 5, 6, 7 is the technical way to describe that. And one of these is 4, 5, 6, 7. And the digits that aren't in the sequence over on this side of the grid are 2 and 3. So this is from 2 and 3. And whichever one of... Yeah, okay. And one of these is in... is in the wall, and one of them is in green, and they have to be sequential with each other. So it's going to have to be the 3 and the 4 here, isn't it? That becomes the 2. The 4 comes out of these squares. I've now got a 5, 6, 7 here, which makes this a 9. This is just brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. So that digit is actually now the same as that digit by Sudoku. I've got a 6, 7 pair here. Do I know which way round these go? I don't know that I do. Obviously, if that's purple, then that's purple to avoid a checkerboard. And I've got to get this. This is only seeing 6 at the moment. 7, 8. Oh, and whatever... Yeah, whatever green this has attached to it, and it's definitely got some more green attached to it, there, or something like that. It's sequential with 9 in this box, because it's got 9 on its Renbanic sequence. Yeah, actually that's interesting. Just Sudoku tells us these digits are 1 and 4. How could that come down there then? Well, oh, I tell you something, this can't be 1 because that would be 2. I think there might be actually a Renbanic reason that's impossible. So this digit is 5 or 3. It's not 3. So that's 5. And one of these, oh, I see. Right. Whichever one of these is green, and one of them is, it's in the sequence with this because of the checkerboard rule. Obviously, if this is green, 9 and 4 are in the same orthogonally connected area within box 9. But if this is green and this is wall, I can't make this wall because that's a checkerboard. So this will be green as well, and these will still be connected. So what does that tell us? Well, it tells us something pretty important. If 9 is in a sequence with one of these digits but not the other, it can't be in the sequence with the 4, can it? Because then it would need a 5 in its sequence, and the 5 would be in the wall. So this is always green, and this is always purple, and that is always green. So that is, well, no, yeah, we do know it's a 5-cell sequence, definitely. Oh, in fact, look, 6, 7. Yeah, it's got to go to here, at least. Even if it took that as green, it's absolutely essential that this is green in order to get the count up for this. So that is now wall. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's either this one is green or that one is green. It cannot be that this is wall. Because if this is wall, the maximum length of sequence here would be 4 cells. It can't take the 1 because the 4 isn't in its sequence. So that's definitely green, that's definitely wall, that's green to avoid a checkerboard. And I can't make that wall because it will be isolated, it won't connect to the edge once this is green. So that's got to be wall, that's got to be green. This is one of the finest puzzles I've ever seen that's sort of a hybrid puzzle like this. The logic in this is absolutely exceptional. Right, that's an 8. Because we know that the sequence, we know this is a 5-cell sequence somehow that takes in the digits 5 to 9 because it doesn't include 4. So it must have 6, 7 and 8 in it, and the only Sudokuable digit that is 8. This is 6 or 7. And this can't be the extension of the sequence because it would need to be a 6 or a 7. So that's got to be wall. That's got to be the extension. That's got to be wall because 1 can't be in the sequence, and now this can't be green. So these squares here are 2 and 3. That 8 does the 5 at the top. That's an 8. And this is a 6 or a 7. And now that's got to be wall to avoid a checkerboard. And these two are going to be interesting. Yeah. Look at this again. This one has been penned in by Scylla and Charybdis over here now. This could be the Colossus of Rhodes bestriding the port of Rhodes, or you know what I mean. Anyway, so this cell, if this was purple, these would have the same count of greens horizontally. So that must be green. Well, and possibly this one might be as well, but this is definitely green. So that digit is at least 6. So it's 6, 7 or 9, and it's in a sequence of 3 cells. So if it's 9, it can't work because this would be an 8-7 sequence and the 8 would be prevented from existing. So this is 6 or 7. And that is, hang on, this can't be 5 because of this, but it's already seeing 5. So it's bigger than 5, but it can't be bigger than this. So it's 6. And to see 6, it must go 1 further. That's got to be wall. This, okay, that's now wall because this does C7. Yeah, that counts right. This must be 5 because it can't include an 8 in this sequence. Oh, I see. And that's just a one-cell sequence. So, yeah, and this doesn't have to be in a sequence because it's wall. So we don't get to learn much more about that, I don't think. That probably has to be a fairly meaty digit, because that's got to get... It can't be like a 2, can it? Because this would need to be a 3 for the Renbanic nature of it, and that would break this. No, I mean, it can't be a 2 anyway. It's bigger than 2. This might be something we need to think about. 6 and 7 at the top we can do by Sudoku. Yeah, look at this white dot. Now, I talked briefly about this earlier. The nature of consecutive numbers, they will have an odd and an even digit in them. What's the even digit on this sequence? Well, it's 2. 4, 6 and 8 have gone. So there's a 2 down here, definitely, along with 1 or 3. So it's 1, 2 or 3. And if you're saying that doesn't do anything, you look like you'd be correct about that, sorry. Where's 1 in box 5? It's not there, because that would be a 2 and that would break. So 1 is there. Now this is a 2, 3 pair. So now in this column I need 7 and 9 only. Wow. So if this is green, this is quite a big number. And then this would have to get to the edge. I think it is going to be this digit. Oh, see, that's a one-cell sequence, so that's not useful. Oh, hang on. Yeah, that's a 9. So that's a 7. That's a 6. That's a 7. Does that help us? Don't know, but where's 2 in this box? It's there. So these squares are 3, 4, 8. So what the digits we're going to need on the consecutive sequence are 3 and 4, which we can fill in. 3, 4, 8. Somehow this is not resolved. Am I? Oh, I must be being slow. Yeah, this has got to be the 4 because this is a sequence. So that's a 3. Right. So we need 1. These are 1, 2, 3 over here. Being forced to do Sudoku. Yttrio, it's outrageous. Have we got a chance? We have got a chance for 3 in the corner. We've got 2 chances, in fact. I think I've got a 2, 3 pair here. What about the bottom of column 5, though? 1, 4, 8. Chocolate teapotted. Chocolate teapotted. That can't be 8. That can't be 4. That can't be 1. Right, so this is 4 or 8. If it's 8, it can't be 8. It can't be 8 because there aren't 8 cells in that direction. Even if we took all of them, it would only be 7. So that's 4. And that undoes my chocolate teapots. That's so clever. Not by me, of course. Right, so this 4, even if it took that digit, that's definitely green. If it took that... Oh, it can't take that digit, because it would only be in a 3-cell sequence. And 4 and 7 are too many digits apart. We can't put 5 and 6 into this square, so that's actually wall. I wasn't expecting that. So this must be 5 now. It's got to be in a sequence. It can't be 6 and it can't be 3. So these squares are 6 and 9, and we know the order. This 4 is now replete. We know how it goes. It goes like that. We don't have to continue the 4, 5 sequence here because this is a new sequence, isn't it? That has hit the edge. Let's double click just to make sure we've got our connectivity working. This has to get out of this part of the grid. Okay, right, I feel like I'm about to get stuck. Bad news. Yeah, this is weird actually. It's the first point of the puzzle. It's flowed incredibly well to this point. Oh, I haven't thought about that, did you? That's a circle. Ooh, how big that has to be a little big. By which I mean it can't be 1, 2 or 3. So this is 4, 5, 6 or 7. 4, 5 or 7 actually. 4, 5 or 7. So it can't get it. It can't become quadrate just by taking horizontal green cells. It's going to have some sort of vertical component. If it was 7, it would have to have quite a big vertical component. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It would have to be all of those. Okay, if it was 7, that would have to be 9, I think. Because making all of these green would create a big green shape, wouldn't it? So this would have to be 1. This would have to be 3. I bet that's the answer actually. This would be 9. There is a 9 up here by Sudoku. There isn't. Oh, there's an 8 in one of those squares. Yeah, okay, maybe Sudoku can be my friend a bit more. How could we do that? 4 is in one of those 2 cells. This green area does have to connect out, doesn't it? So this or this are essential. Oh, I can't quite see how to do it. Okay, let's try Sudoku in row 8, because I've just seen I've got a 2, 3 pair. 1, 6, 7. No, it's not good enough. That's 1, 6, 7. Looks like that's teapotted again. 6 here. 7 here. Can we do anything with that? I don't think so. 2, 3, 8, 9 here. I'm floundering now, trying to spot Sudoku things all. 2, 3, 8, 9. Oh, no. I was going to say they have to be consecutive. They don't have to be consecutive because the green area here will have to grow. Because we can't just wall this in. So there's something going on in that regard. I don't know. I'm not seeing this yet. I'm going to actually pencil mark. I'm going to bother to pencil mark all of these squares in the hope it sheds some light on what on earth I'm meant to do next. Whoops. 5 comes out of this by Sudoku. 7 comes out of this. So this is a big old digit. That feels like it might matter. Yeah, because whichever way this extends, it might extend both ways, but it must extend, and it's at least a 6. So, there is definitely something going on here. This can't be 5 for sure, because this is a very high digit. Actually, could it be 5? Actually, I might be wrong, sorry. This is very high. The jackpot is if this is 9. Because then, well, it depends, doesn't it? It depends. I wonder if this can be 7. I thought it was going to be 7 before, but now I'm not so sure. Let's try 4, 5, 6, 7. You see, this digit is 6 or 7 as well. So maybe Sudoku can help me. I know it's a forlorn hope. This is 4, 5 or 6. You see, how could that not be in the sequence? I'm wondering how this couldn't be green, given this is clearly quite a big digit. This would then be 4 or 5, wouldn't it? Because we'd have to come slithering our way down here. So we'd have to go 6, 7 here, 5 here, 4 here, 3 here. This is a 4, so it could escape down here. If this was green, then this would have to get to the... Oh, but maybe that one could be... Oh no, that cell would be dead then, wouldn't it? If we did that. If that has to be 4, 5 or 6... Ah, if that's green... Oh, I see, they could just be 3, 4. Ah, and I can't quite see it. I think there's going to be a really simple way of articulating this, and I'm just not able to do it at the moment. Maybe I've got to do more Sudoku. 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh no, you're kidding me. You're kidding me. Look at this. This is an outrage. This is an outrage. Right. Okay, well I can get rid of 2 from this one, but this is a very, very, very naughty naked single. It's a 2. Okay, so now, well now this becomes 3, 8, 9, and I don't get a 3 in the corner. I get a 3 here and a 2 here. But I get a 1 here and a 3 here and a 2 here. Oh, I get a different 3 in the corner. You get a different 3. I get a 3 here in the corner. That's 3 in the corner. That's 3 in the spotlight, losing its religion. Right. What on earth? Oh, this 2 and 3 are done over here. So these become 4 and 5. Okay, well maybe this has distilled the problem up here into a slightly more tractable form. This 9, 8 has to extend. So, I mean, it's going to have to go through either this one or this one, because it can't go through the 2 to get out, because the 3 is definitely not in whatever sequence this 9, 8 is in. So it looks like it's going to pick up, I don't know, 7, 6 and 5 maybe to get out. So maybe it does 7, 6, 5. And maybe all of those are grey, or sorry, wall. Okay, so that's probably not where we look. So we've got a 3 here that is definitely green. But is it part of the same sequence as this cell? Okay, I don't know. I've got a 6, 7. Oh, hang on. I've now got this square up to 8. Oh, that's big. That's got to be big. Ooh, how could that be 9? If that's no, it can't be 9. Oh, so it becomes simple once you do the Sudoku far enough. Oh, that's great. I was really worried about that, but this is really elegant now. Yeah, how could this be 9? If it's 9, it can't stop, because the sequence, this green area would be penned in. So it would need access to an 8, but the only place 8 could go in the box if this is 9 is here. So it would stop. So this is definitely 8. That means this is 8. That means this is 9. This is definitely not 8 anymore. Now, what's the next deduction that we have to make then? So this is going to be quite a size. It's going to have a 7 in its sequence. and it's going to have a 6 in its sequence, because it's at least a 3-cell sequence from here. It's going to take this cell or both. So it's at least a 3-cell sequence. So it must have 6 in it. The 6 in the box is in one of these 2 squares, apparently. So how could this not be green? It must be green, and possibly this must be green as well, but that must definitely be green. And now I'll avoid a checkerboard there, so that's definitely green. And that's allowing me to... So now 3 is on the sequence. So this sequence is at least... It needs 5 and 6 on it. Now it needs 5 and 6 on it because it needs the digits between 3 and 8. So that digit becomes 9. Otherwise the sequence would not be possible. It needs 5 and 7 on it. So that becomes green. Oh, this is wonderful. Oh, I still don't know about that one. Well... And this has reached a count of 4 now, hasn't it? So if it did take this one, it would be a 5. Good grief. That's weird. Okay. Wow. Okay, so I still don't think I quite know how it... I don't know what this digit is. What do I think? I suspect this is going to be 4, actually. But I'm not certain. If it's 4... No, I'm not certain. 5, 7, that must be in that cell, in this box. So this is 5, or so it's the same as this. And I've still got to slither this out as well, which definitely needs access to a 7. So, yeah. So imagine this cell was purple. How would this connect? It would have to go up here, wouldn't it? But it needs access to a 7 in its sequence. So it would have to ring right round here to get the 7, and this would be isolated. So that's definitely green. If I could get this one... I don't think this 2 can be. If this 2... No, this 2 is now definitely wall, because if this 2 was green, it's in the same sequence as the 9, and the 3 would prevent that from existing. So that 2 is definitely wall. This still has to get to the edge, don't forget, as well. So I think we're either looking at a situation where this wrinkles down here to get to the edge, or... Oh, hang on, I can do 9... hang on, this is going to help. Sudoku again. 9, 1... 6, 7, 1. Well, yeah, this 1 is definitely off limits, because 9 and 1 can't be in the same Renbanic sequence in this box, given 2 and 3 are not available to it. Avoid a checkerboard here. This has to get out. Oh, so it is very straightforward if you do the Sudoku, which of course I didn't do. And I shouldn't have expected anything less. I still don't know what this number is. It's not 7 anymore. It's 4 or 5. So this is 7 by Sudoku. That's 6. And... golly. How does this resolve then? Oh, I see. Oh, goodness me. It resolves here. Good Lord. Okay, but I see how it works now. But that's 7, that's 6, that's 6, that's 7, that's 5. But look, we get left with a deadly pattern, but it's not deadly because this needs to be a sequence. So that has to be 5 rather than 4, which makes this 5, which tells us that cell is actually green because this has to reach a count of 5. And now the sequence in this box, if we just fill the 4s in, is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's unbelievable. What a puzzle that is. I mean, yeah, you could not solve that and not rate it at the highest rank you could. It's unbelievably clever. Oh, I tell you what I could do, because it just occurs to me it would look better if I did it. I could delineate. I'm going to do it. How long have I had? Oh, goodness me, that cannot be right. How have I had? I've had an hour and 20 minutes. I only just started. I'm sorry. Well, I that is, what a way to spend an hour and 20 minutes. That was so, in my mind, that has rushed past. Oh, look, and that bit, there we go. That looks lovely. Is this right? Yes. Solve counter 93 in 6 days. Fabulous. Yttrio, that was sensationally good, I would say. That is just, yeah, who was it? Somebody said chef's kiss. That is what that is. That is chef's kiss. Wonderful puzzle. I absolutely loved it. Let me know in the comments how you got on with it. I enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind, and we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.